between 18 and 24 months, I believe the child, for the first time, all children with a good brain, become aware that they have intentions, that they have feelings, that they can act. It's an insight very much like that famous insight of Helen Keller when she realized that the word water applied to that experience. That's an aha experience, which I think requires the interaction of the brain, and of course living in the world. The child has to have interactions with people. But all the interactions in the world won't lead to the sense of self until you're in the middle of the second year, because the brain is not yet mature.
Who's that? Who's that?
The developing sense of self can be seen in this ingenious experiment known as the Rouge test. The test's simplicity itself requires a dab of rouge and a mirror.
What's that?
A child 3 months old with rouge on her nose looking at her own reflection won't touch her nose because she doesn't recognize that the face in the mirror belongs to her. Neither will a child 9 or 10 months old.
Oh, baby. Kiss the baby. Oh, that's nice.
But by 18 or 20 months, because the sense of self has matured, a child touches her nose.
There are other signs. The child will begin to use the word I and me and my, and it won't do that before. In a wonderful demonstration by Laura Petito, who's at McGill, deaf children of deaf parents who are learning to communicate by sign language, they will make the sign for I at the same time as a hearing child will begin to touch its nose. That's a marvelous discovery, suggesting there's a timetable here.
Did you find another baby?
The second milestone, which I believe is as important, is a moral sense. Now children are bothered if they see something that's flawed, a broken doll, a broken car, paint that's peeling from a table that shouldn't have paint peeling. Child shows concern. He'll say broken, dirty, bad, or take the doll to the mother, implying that something is wrong. No child 12 months old will do that. And I'm suggesting that's because the child now has a primitive understanding that there is an integrity to objects, and that if the integrity is violated, somebody or some living thing has done something wrong. So a moral sense is one of the most profound accomplishments, and we should view it as just as we view singing and speaking and walking. It is a maturational milestone that will be acquired by every child as long as they live in a world of human beings.
A sense of self and a moral sense, two qualities of mind programmed by biology that emerge during development. From them, other aspects of a child's behavior fall into place.
You have to give her the ball now. It's her turn. Ricky, give it to her.
The terrible twos, for instance, can no longer be thought of as stubbornness, but as a time when a child is trying to establish the difference between right and wrong. It's also a time when the relationship between thought, or cognition, and emotions becomes clear.
19th century theorists, and especially Freud's writings, made emotions the basis for cognitive development. Freud said the id came first, and then the ego, which represented thought and logic, followed as a result of the resolution of conflict. And 19th century theorists also wanted to make emotions primary and thought as a necessary coping device to deal with conflict. But what we've said here today is quite the opposite, that the maturation of the brain is accompanied by the emergence of cognitive competences. For example, you can't show stranger anxiety or fear over your mother leaving until you are cognitively mature enough to remember the past. You can't experience the emotion of guilt until you're mature enough to recognize that you could have done otherwise when you hurt that child. So what's very new is the fact that many of the profound emotions we experience and the conflicts we experience wait upon cognitive advances.